Hey everyone, Sean here, and today in this video I wanted to sit down and talk about the upcoming banner featuring Arataki Itto, and not only that, there are the 4-star characters featuring the new Geo Archer, which is Goro, and of course we have two other units that have been around, long before, which is Barbara and Xiangling. So funny enough, these two units are something you can get for free, technically, if you play the game. But anyway, before I get into all of that, before I get into all the thoughts and everything in between, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like. You know the drill, really helps out, and I do highly appreciate it. I gotta say it in the beginning of the video, just because that's pretty much the norm of things, and that's the drill. Because it really is helpful for for channels like mine. Anywho, let's get cracking and let's talk about the 4 stars first. Of course, let's just get the two old ones out of the way, the older units out of the way, which is Barbara and Xiangling. Xiangling is solid as a DPS unit. I originally thought that she was just okay or decent. You do get her for free in the beginning of things if you start playing the game. So Xiangling is already a free sort of character. Definitely, if you want to get more constellations of her, then yeah, she definitely does blow up to be a much better unit. Especially, I think it's at C4 or something like that, somewhere around there. Her Pyronado, her ult or burst lasts a lot longer, I think by 40%. So getting to that point is really good for Xiangling. It really blows her up, like I said, and it really really makes her shine as either a DPS unit or a support unit. She could be both. You can build her to be either one, and she does both of them effectively depending on what you want to do with your team. So I would say Xiangling is definitely a good 4-star unit if you do grab her along the way. Now next up is Barbara. Barbara is a pretty decent healer, at least to say the least. I think you do get her as well for free during the early parts of the story. If you just play along in the game, you definitely get her somewhere, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't, played the game as of, or play the new content or new game part of things. I don't have like a second account or anything like that, so I don't know how it is when you start the game nowadays. So I think you can get her for free along the way. But anyway, when you do have her, she is a pretty decent unit as a healer. Although her element does apply the wet status on the current character, and it's just pretty annoying to well, then again, Xingqiu has that sort of that same effect too, so I guess it's kind of a common thing, but it's still annoying, especially if you're surrounded by ice units. But anyway, Barbara is a good unit, not the best, but overall I'd say she's good to have in certain compositions or certain levels of, let's say, the abyss, or certain situations, especially where you're fighting the new enemies that apply bleed, especially if it's like a team-wide bleed. You definitely want some sort of element of burst that heals everyone instantaneously, which Barbara definitely has, although it takes a little bit to charge up. That's kind of a problem with Barbara. But if that's one of the only healing units you have, especially a 4-star, then she's probably the best choice in that situation. If you do have someone like Jean, for example, then you're better off with Jean, of course, in the long run. But when it comes to like the abyss, and you have that 2-team comp to work on, and you need that you need 2 burst healers, right? You got Jean, but then who else could do that, right? So that's why commonly it's Barbara that fills up that slot, and I think she does a decent job at it as long as you build her competently, and she's a decent unit to serve you for those purposes. But she's definitely better. You're better off with Barbara than someone like Kokomi, but we're not, Kokomi is nowhere here in this banner, of course. So otherwise, I would say she's a good unit at best. She's definitely a tier kind of character, as some tier lists have applied or implied, and that's all there is to it for Barbara. So if you do pick her up, don't fret too much. She's not that bad of a unit, as people made her out to be during I'd say like the early part of the game when the game first came out. But anyway, on to the new 4-star unit, which is of course the Geo Archer. Goro. Goro is going to be a very niche unit. He's going to be either really good for what you want to do or really bad for the rest of things. He's going to be a really good unit for an all Geo comp or most Geo comp, like a 90% Geo comp kind of thing, 3 out of 4 or 75%, whatever. If you have mostly Geo units in your party, then this shouldn't be too bad, but you're better off doing all Geo units, I think, because of the effects or talents that Goro brings into the game. So he pretty much kind of is like, sort of like a Geo Bennett, sort of, but only applies to Geo, of course, and doesn't heal. So I think he does have potential to really make that niche really, really fun and cool to use if you really are into Geo units. So for someone like me, I would like to have Goro on my team, just so I can like sort of fulfill that curiosity, as if I can like run a competent all Geo team. In my case, so I would probably run like Noelle as the healer, Zhongli of course, and then hopefully Arataki Itto ideally. But other than that, I don't think I have another unit other than Ningguang to fulfill that sort of solid DPS sort of unit. So I have to definitely continue off to build Ningguang a little better, and then that'd be the Geo team from there. But speaking of Arataki Itto, I guess we can talk about Arataki Itto, and then we can bounce back to Goro here and there. But anyway, Itto is going to be someone I definitely want to roll for, just basically solely based off of his aesthetics. I think he looks really cool. I like the whole Oni King sort of aesthetic and sort of gimmick that he has as his character or personality. Also, he does like the kabuki sort of poses. So I do really like that sort of thing or shtick when it comes to these sort of characters. Now, of course, aesthetically, he could have been better in the in-game model side of things because he's not that buff. It's just the same exact thing, which I did expect, but it's still disappointing to see. I was hoping that they would change things up for the better. Arataki Itto could have been the one to break that sort of rule, to break away from that rig that, Zhongli, Child, and Diluc use, So he's just another slim, tall man with those skinny arms, unfortunately, which doesn't quite fit the overall persona that Itto is supposed to be. In the artwork side of things, he's buff, he's muscular, he's much more built. But when it comes to the in-game model, it kind of leads you to like, well, I got jibbed, that sort of feeling when it comes to that. Other than that, he is very much a DPS unit where you need to emphasize off of defense because that's what he scales off of. And he kind of is like a juice up Noelle / Razor sort of way because his burst involves you just hitting more buttons on his normal attacks, charge attacks, or etc. etc. I mean, also kind of like Raiden Shogun, So he brings out his ultimate weapon from his burst and starts swinging, hit those buttons, and that's pretty much what that burst is. So obviously there are some weapons that he can use, which is the White Blind or White Bind, I think, either way, a claymore that uses defense and such. You can probably use the Serpent's Spine, I think is what it's called. That one scales off of, or that one uses crit damage as the main stat. So you could use that, but I think I prefer to just buff up his defense, just so try to scale off of it even more for more possible damage overall as a whole. And that's pretty much that's my plan of things. I already have some artifacts for him to equip with as a start. I'm trying to gather up all the materials as much as I can, even though I don't have them just yet. But I'm trying to just preemptively be prepared for Arataki Itto, because I do have the means of getting him through guaranteed pity if I have to go there. Worst case scenario. Right now I am on 50-50 pity, and I'm kind of close. I do need to do, I think either like 40 or 50 more summons. So there's that. To at the worst case scenario. So, you know, because, you know, remember 90 wishes is the most you need to do to get the pity. It could be more or less, or not, excuse me, it could be less than that, and then 90 at the most. And so yeah. When it comes to like the meta and stuff like that, I don't think Arataki Itto, you really don't need him. But when it comes to just aesthetics and how cool he is, then, you know, you can definitely decide from there. I think he looks fun. I think he looks cool. I want just him on the team, or in my roster, just because of his overall character or personality and all that aesthetic stuff. And yeah, so if I have to go there, I may have to you know, pull out the wallet, you know, for another $50. You know what I mean? So to me, it's kind of like a DLC pass sort of thing for the game, because I already spent another $50 from before. So that was during the Eula banner, funny enough. So and I was able to get Yoimiya. Definitely was another unit I was able to get because of the leftover gems I had in my arsenal, plus, you know, all the free-to-play gems that I gathered during, well, dailies and everything else, you know, the events and such. But yeah, I pretty much have Arataki Itto on lock, pretty much. If I do have to go there, but, you know, I'm willing to, you know, drop it for this sort of season, because it is winter. It's that Christmas / holiday sort of season, so I'm kind of in the mood for that, so I'm okay. And yeah, so I kind of just think of it that way. It's DLC for the game, and that's I'm okay with. So overall, yes, Arataki Itto is a unit I will roll personally, but I don't think he's a unit that you definitely don't need in your roster. I mean, there are plenty of other units you can chase for or just get along the way, and they'll definitely serve you just as well. You know, D-Luke is still okay. You know, if you happen to have Eula, she's definitely good. Hu Tao is definitely really good. Is still, you know, as part of the sort of DPS meta, so on and so forth. You know, you can even have some 4 stars as your main DPS and still get through it just fine when it comes to either Abyss or the main game. So again, like, I don't think you need Arataki Itto unless you maybe roll on the weapon banner, but that's always like a trap to me anyway. So yes, it is tempting because the weapon, right? It's defense. It's got the stats, or the effect is just made for Arataki Itto. So having Arataki Itto and Goro would be really nice, just because of the whole Geo thing. So if I can manage to do that, I'm definitely gonna. I definitely can run Itto, Zhongli, Noel, and Goro, and that should be a pretty effective team for an all Geo team. You know, I just wanted to do it for fun and all that fun stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for Arataki Itto. Do you need him? No. Admittedly, I'll say that, but I want him just because he looks cool from the aesthetic part of things. And let me leave you some trivia when it comes to Arataki Itto, when it comes to the Japanese voice side of things. So his Japanese voice, he is voiced by, let me bring up the name here. It is Nishikawa Takanori, and that person, or that seiyuu voice actor, is actually the lead singer from TMR, or TM Revolution, which is a band that has been known for doing the anime openings, such as the first opening for Soul Eater. So that's where I kind of was introduced to that band, and I thought that band is pretty cool, and I like that opening, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's really cool that this voice actor, or the singer, is the voice actor for Arataki Itto. So maybe having him will be really cool in that sense too. So I definitely want to check out the rest of the voice clips and all that stuff once I get Arataki Itto. And yeah, so I personally pretty much have it in my grasp, as long as I play the cards right. So hopefully the Gacha gods will be in my favor, or the Gacha archons, I should say, be in my favor. But yeah, that's just pretty much what's on my mind and what's the plan of things. I'll definitely plan to roll on that banner day 1, and hopefully I can get that. So wish me luck to get Arataki Itto, and I definitely wish you all the luck I can give you all the best luck I can offer to you all who want to also roll for Arataki Itto as well. So anyways, that's all I got. I know it's a longer video because of Arataki Itto coming talking, because that's the kind of character he is. Although it's funny because there's that trailer that came out recently showing Itto, but everyone's talking about Ayato rather, because the voice at the end, you know, he got that Japanese voice actor. I think it's Akira Ishida, which is another famous voice actor in Japan. And yeah, so he definitely has a fair share of cool anime characters under his belt. So that's kind of why everyone, or Itto, is kind of overshadowed by that in essence. But anyway, for realsies, that's it. If you have any comments about this banner, leave it down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because again, it really helps out, and I do appreciate it. So this has been my sort of thoughts, Hawke Talks episode, and all that for the Arataki Itto banner featuring Goro, Xiangling, and Barbara. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I wish you again the best of luck. Sean out.